The 2A community in Connecticut especially is very small. And I truly believe the petty drama that goes on within the community is detrimental for us as a whole.
We're defending ourselves here against rumors. That's the problem. So I'm not trying to cause more drama. I am trying to dispel rumors that are childish at this point. Welcome to Lock and Load Podcast. My name is Josh.
And I'm Michelle.
We talk to you about Connecticut 2A issues. So today we are talking about Grant versus Lamont injunction. It's a key word here. Being petitioned to the Supreme Court. Now I know Todd and Derek have done a video on this. I wanted to wait until after the CCDL meeting to see if I learned anything more. And so here we are. Is the short answer of this. So this is a CCDL partnered with Second Amendment Foundation, SAF, to sue the state of Connecticut for the assault weapons ban back in 2012. And it has been sitting in New Haven Superior Courthouse since 2022, I believe. You know what? Let me pull up the timeline.
It had gone back and forth a little bit. So it had been denied, and then the appeal went through. And then again, the state or the circuit, our circuit judges here are lovely. They upheld their original decision. So now the movement is that they've now petitioned the Supreme Court to hear it. The Supreme Court has said that within the next term or two, they had every intention of hearing some of these assault weapon ban cases, if not rolling them into one. But this one is sitting there. The benefit with this is that if it's heard and it makes movement, because the big word is if here, it actually will help several other states along the way with the way this is written.
So September 30th, 2022, CCDL and SAF launched Grant versus Lamont, challenging the so-called assault weapons ban in the wake of the Bruin decision. We couldn't do one, I guess, prior to the Bruin decision because we lost Shue versus Malloy.
We did. Well, we didn't lose it. It died at the Supreme Court right after Scalia died. It was kind of pulled.
Okay. September 28, 2023, U.S. District Court of Connecticut denied our motion for a preliminary injunction. October 16th, 2024, argued before the Second Circuit Court of Appeals in Manhattan to appeal the district court denial. We lost that in August of 2025 in a 2-1 decision. They denied our appeal, ignored Bruin, twisted history, and ruled that AR-15 and similar rifles are not protected under the Second Amendment. That was the recent one that I did a quick video on a couple months ago, obviously back in August, when Eddie sent that to me, actually the day it was ruled.
Well, that's what's so big about this case is that they're speaking out of both sides of their mouth.
Yeah.
It's, the reasoning for denying it is, well, it's not, first it started off, well, they're not in regular use. And then it came back, well, they are in regular use, but they're still dangerous. It's like, depending on the judge that hears it.
And versus or argument.
Correct.
Going back to a long, long time ago. So the other day, this got dropped on social media, and I know that Todd, Gun Guru, reached out to Eddie right away. And Eddie was not told this was appealed to the Supreme Court. Eddie was...
Your plaintiff, by the way.
Your plaintiff was the last one to know this. We've confirmed that with some other people and Eddie. So I don't know. That's kind of weird in my opinion. I guess I'll use the word weird. So went to CCDL Tuesday night, talked to a few people, and they gave a little bit of an update, but nothing that's not out on social media or on SAF. So I don't know if you guys watch Gun Guru's channel. I know Michelle doesn't watch that much YouTube and
social media stuff.
I try to pay attention to Todd's channel, see what's going on, see what he's talking about, because we all talk about different things, right? If you guys watch us, we kind of stick to Connecticut and law stuff. That's kind of our little niche. Todd kind of expands into that stuff and gun reviews and
some
a
national
lot of national stuff. And then Derek definitely does some more national stuff, Connecticut Gun Bench, but he focuses on Connecticut issues too, obviously. So I watched Todd's the other day, and Todd's big argument here was that there is not a good job of informing the public on these sort of issues. And to a point, I definitely agree with him. There's a quote unquote press release, via social media That doesn't get a lot of traction, to be honest. I bet if I had 100 gun owners in this room, 2 probably know what's going on.
Correct. Oh, I still hear all the time, there's a lawsuit that's out there. We're actually suing for this. And
I mean, it goes back to the whole 667, right?
Mm.
Gun owners still don't know what's going on with that.
Correct.
Still get questions every week, multiple times a week. What do I do? Well, you can find out in a future video. It's coming up, guys.
Go back even to after Sandy Hook with all those. I mean, and people still don't know that, the magazine they bought with that firearm, they should have registered with the high cap.
Long time ago.
Correct. But and that's just information. And again, we all can find information. Not all of it is readily available.
Is it readily convertible though? That was a 4-2 joke.
It is. I know. I was trying to find a little quip I could give you back, and it didn't happen. To some degree, I do understand keeping some of the information under wraps because you don't want to give too much information, because both sides of this argument are watching all the media and all the posts. I do know this is getting some national recognition. Guns and Gadgets, Jarrett from Guns and Gadgets, he put up a fantastic podcast on this. But I do think some information should be flowing more so. We don't need to know that, well, if they do this, they're going to do this. And, this is our game plan. But we should know what's on the table and where it sits.
And where our money is being spent.
Correct. Especially because they're asking for the donations, which 100%, if you make sure that you put for legal fees, they'll keep it in the litigation fund. If you put nothing, then sometimes it goes into the regular funds and sometimes litigation. So it depends on how you want to donate. But these lawsuits are not cheap, and there's no little money tree that says, here, this one's making money just for this lawsuit. These are up to millions of dollars by the time you get done going through all these courts, because they have to constantly we have to be shut down so many times.
As I've said before, it took $1 million to get Shue versus Malloy to the Supreme Court.
Correct. And then we didn't have the numbers because we didn't have the numbers. Once Scalia passed, at that point in time, the makeup of SCOTUS, because I was on the exec board when that happened. And by the time we got up there, we had to pull it, because to have it heard at that point in time could have been very detrimental permanently for this whole country. So if you don't have the numbers, you don't have the numbers. Right now, we're set up in a good spot. They still don't know that they're going to have all the numbers. I had a conversation with Eddie Grant. I've had a conversation with a couple other people. I think we have a solid 3 justices. We really need 5. So 2 of them are kind of swinging right now, but you don't know. Once the arguments are heard, let's see what happens. Like Josh said, this is for an injunction. So if those of you who don't understand what an injunction is, it's not about killing the ban. It's about giving a reprieve. So basically the ban it stays, but it's not going to be enforced until the actual case gets heard and a decision is made. But it will give this time period of no enforcement while this is going on, which is a good thing. And that's a good avenue to take, in my opinion.
Well, at least probably get a freedom week out of it, at least.
I don't know. With the way the Supreme Court works, if they do a reprieve on this and give an injunction, it doesn't mean it's going to be heard in a week. It could wait another 8 months to a year.
Do you really think that the Connecticut Supreme Court wouldn't bump this up the docket real quick with good old Tong there? I do. I think it'll get it. Let's say we win the injunction. I think very quickly.
Okay.
You're going to have
somebody make some moves on it.
Yeah.
But again, if that's the case, depends on how this injunction is written too, because if it gets appealed right away, which it will, or it should say, because we know right now,
appeal a Supreme Court decision.
Connecticut Supreme Court?
Yeah, no, this is the Supreme Court. So if the injunction wins, you can't appeal this decision. It's
correct.
done.
But if it goes back to the Supreme Court to now be heard, then you can continue to appeal until you get to the Supreme Court.
Again.
Right. So depending on how, I don't know the ins and outs. I don't know if you do, what this injunction says, because having SAF involved makes me much more
It's about
confident.
100+ pages of the injunction.
I've looked at it.
It is on CCDL's website, by the way. If you go under I think it's right on the homepage, actually, if you scroll down.
I looked at it, but I haven't looked at it enough to memorize. Like most of the laws coming out of Connecticut, I read so often that I can almost tell you what page, what line. This one I have not, because it's taken so long to go anywhere that I'm just happy it's going somewhere now. Once it gets, once it starts moving a little more, I will refresh into it a little bit better. But if the injunction reads until final decision, it all depends on how it's done.
Let's go best case, worst case scenario here. Worst case scenario, Supreme Court either doesn't hear us. No, worst case is Supreme Court hears us but denies us.
That's the worst.
That's the worst case.
That's the worst case.
Second thing would be
it
denies us.
Or it could just sit and not get called.
Yeah.
Because they said this term or next term.
Correct.
Now, even when you're talking to people out of Connecticut, the other gun people, other legal aspects, their gun organizations, national gun organization, they have said that this law or this bill, this lawsuit, that's what I want. This lawsuit is written better than anything else that has hit the Supreme Court so far.
That's good.
So with that being said, it might be heard faster. Maybe. And it might be heard this term. I'm hoping.
So let's say it doesn't get heard by them. Well, then we have to wait for our Supreme Court to actually hear it, which they will eventually.
This might push it too, if they know we're pushing up the channels.
Maybe they start doing it. Best case scenario is we win the injunction, but that's not the case. We win the injunction, and then it goes back down to New Haven, and maybe it takes them a year, 8 months, like you said. Well, that would be a really good thing because New Haven's going to rule against us.
Well, in an injunction, maybe you know this because I don't know off the top of my head. It doesn't mean that all these gun stores can start selling them again, does it? If it's an injunction,
I think it's how it depends, because if it's put into a stay, then the law is dead. So it really depends on what happens. Not dead, paused. That's how you had Freedom Week in California. You had and you had the whole magazine thing. And there's been other places that have had like a Freedom Week or a Freedom Weekend.
Right.
And then the argument is like a contract to purchase, right? When you go and throw down a deposit. Basically what happened with HB 6667, right?
Once we knew the details. Free time. So if it comes in after the fact, you still purchased it prior to.
Yep. Okay. Because you're a contract to purchase. So we'll find out what happens. So whatever happens in New Haven, it's right. Either side is going to appeal the New Haven decision, whether they side with us, which probably won't happen. And then it's going to go to Second Circuit, and it's probably going to end up back to the Supreme Court. Maybe it stops at Second Circuit after the injunction, maybe. I don't think so.
Not with the justices we have in our circuit.
It was a 2-1 decision. You never know what can happen, right?
There's always hope.
It probably ends up back in the Supreme Court. So this is not a win, but it's a step in the right direction. But it's going to cost. It's going to cost a lot of money here, guys.
It is.
And CCDL is asking all the time for money.
But SAF is also doing it. Yep. So you can, depending on where your stance is, because not everybody is going to support CCDL. It is the only gun rights group in Connecticut. So with that being said, you'd want to support them. But if for some reason you don't, you can also give money to SAF directly. And on your check, you just write for this lawsuit and it will go to the right places. So there's 2 different ways you can do this. And it's easy enough to, even if a group of you get together and you decide you want to just talk to your friends and just have a bucket, pass it around. It doesn't have to be just all out of your pocket. Everybody, you can do this as a group. You can do this at a gun club. The gun clubs can pass a bucket and put that money in and either give it to CCDL. And I would suggest always putting litigation fund, and you can put this lawsuit directly so that they know it's going directly for that. And that's where your money is going to go. I say that as someone who was on the exec committee. So I do know that there is a difference. And whenever I give money, I've always done it for litigation funds because I know that that's where your big money is. And that's what I would like to see happen. I want to see good lawsuits come out of Connecticut like this one.
So we'll keep you updated on this as things transpire. Two things I want to add to this, though. One, this is our opinions. So if we didn't get something 100% correct, this is our opinions.
Always.
And the information that we have gathered on our own. Two, there were some rumors going around like we're in high school. I think to dispel any rumors, adults should be adults and talk to people.
Yes.
B, Michelle and I have no plans of making a pro 2A organization to take out CCDL, which was the rumor.
And I've been asked several times by several different people to get involved and start a new one. And my answer every time you can ask Josh has always been, hell no. I am so busy that I will help out 2A organizations always. I will always stand by and always support. But I put 10 years in with CCDL. I know the hours it takes to do so. And I have no intention of trying to compete with them. I hope we all have hopes that things will change around in this state. And, no matter who you are, sometimes you look at things and you say, oh, well, that should be run different or that should be done this way or that way. But that doesn't mean that we don't support at any way, shape, or form. And the rumors, it saddens me because a lot of those people know me personally and have known me for years. And the fact that they'd even entertain or talk and make such drama
is childish.
It's sad. If that's all you have to do, we have bigger problems in Connecticut with gun rights. I'm not a problem. Josh isn't a problem. We're trying to help and support and get the community involved. That's it.
I'm annoyed. Just being honest. I'm annoyed.
Yep. I'm disappointed.
The cold shoulders that I have received within the last 6 to 8 months because we were right about HB 7042.
Oh, yes.
Is childish. So if anyone watching this feels a certain way, you can call me.
Or
I'm
me.
Sure you have my number.
Yeah, or me. I'm happy to talk to anyone. Josh knows this. Josh and I have talked a lot. The 2A community in Connecticut especially is very small. And I truly believe the petty drama that goes on within the community is detrimental for us as a whole.
1,000%. And this isn't petty drama on our side, guys. We're defending ourselves here against rumors. That's the problem. So I'm not trying to cause more drama.
No.
But I am trying to dispel rumors that are childish at this point.
Well, because they think that by saying the things and having the rumors go around, they're actually dividing the community even more when that is not, number one, it never happened. And it's, personally, you can like people, you don't have to like people. But at the end of the day, even those that I really can't stand, I don't want to see their rights taken away any more than my rights taken away or my best friend's rights taken away. Rights are rights. And no matter who you are, you should have them. And we need to work together to make that happen. And it's, like I said, I'm sad. I'm disappointed, extremely disappointed in many. But anyone who knows Josh or I should know we don't get down in the mud. That's not my game plan. I want to always be the bigger person. There's days I slip. I'll be totally honest. But that's the goal here because we're all fighting and we should be fighting together, not dividing.
One last note. Thank the vice president of CCDL is stepping aside, resigning.
Yes, he's stepping down.
December will be his last meeting. And that is the second Tuesday at the VFW. It's their Christmas party. I think I am planning on going. I have to look at my schedule. I try to attend CCDL meetings.
I'm sad to see so many
executives
step off that have been there for so long, have done so much with the fight. And granted, I get it. Time is time and it's hard, but it's to watch a lot of these true patriots in Connecticut step away from this is saddening again, because I know how much they put in for this. And I appreciate every effort that everyone has done, whether it be a founding member of CCDL, somebody who came in early on, like I said, I did it for 10 years and I've now been out about 5 years. So, I mean, we're going back quite a few years, and I wasn't there in the very, very beginning, but shortly after. And a lot of people have moved out of state, which God bless them. I hope to be able to do that someday. Others that are still here, it's sad that they've left. And, I hope that they are able to be replaced with people that are just as much in the fight for the rights as the ones that are leaving. Not just.
If you have the time, go get involved, guys. And I don't mean this in a mean way, but I'm going to be honest here again. The average age of that room, of the people in there, 50 plus.
Trying to say 50 is old?
Yep. So, just being honest.
No, you're right.
And maybe there's more people, younger people or something watching. Like, we'll watch like the CCDL thing, but
and everybody has
need to get
lives.
More people involved.
Everybody has lives. We get that, and it's a volunteer position with CCDL or just getting involved.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's a very important cause. And that's why we're all here. I mean, that's why we all shop and buy the guns that we buy the ammo that we buy. So, if you have any way of putting in a little bit of time, there's always a place for you. There is always something you can do.
So my name's Josh.
And I'm Michelle.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Lock and Load Podcast is sponsored by Lock and Load Firearms, Connecticut's #1 rated gun store and pistol permit class on Google. Come check us out, 1573 Meriden Waterbury Turnpike in Southington. Lock and Load Firearms.
Lock and Load Podcast is also sponsored by Patriot Wear Holsters, custom-made Kydex holsters locally made in Waterbury, Connecticut. www.patriotwearholster.com and use code LNL Podcast for 10% off your purchase. Orders available for shipping or pickup at various locations.